Tuesday, Republican Donald Trump became the presumptive presidential nominee by winning 295 Electoral College votes, besting his Democratic challenger, Kamala Harris, who won 226 Electoral College votes. While we are still awaiting the definitive results from Nevada and Arizona, which collectively account for 17 Electoral College votes, it is safe to say that Donald Trump has garnered the minimum required 270 Electoral College votes to clinch the election. What does that mean for the markets? In simplest terms, a Trump victory has implications for inflation, tariffs, energy, and deregulation. Recently, concurrent with the increased chances of a Trump victory, the Treasury bond yields have moved up on the anticipation of higher tariffs being inflationary. Industrial America stocks, which could benefit from tariffs placed on foreign competitors, have rallied as well. Traditional energy stocks could catch a breather as the regulatory and legislative pendulum swings away from clean energy stocks to policies that are more friendly for fossil fuel companies. We could possibly see some relaxation of draconian environmental policies which hamstring traditional energy companies. And finally, financials, traditionally a heavily regulated sector, could benefit from the deregulation promised by President Trump. Of course, much of this has been anticipated by the markets. In the last month, financials and industrials have been the two best performing sectors. Traditional energy stocks have come from behind the pack and have rallied strongly in the last week. Conversely, clean energy stocks have sold off big. The Republicans were able to flip the Senate, gaining a 52 to 45 majority. It was previously 51-49 Democrats. The election results for 3 seats are still to be determined: Nevada, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. The results of the House elections so far show a slim majority for the Republicans of 13 seats. The results are still not clear since almost 30 of the races have yet to be called, and there is a likelihood that the House could flip Democrat. It is important to understand that much needs to happen between pronouncements from the White House and lasting structural change. The president can enact short-term change via executive orders. Long-term structural changes must be ratified or involve the Congress. The Republicans have a simple majority in the Senate, but it does not reach the 60% majority needed to push through many legislative changes, especially those that involve the tax code and the federal budget. If the House flips Democrat, it adds another level of complexity to the lawmaking process and increases the likelihood of gridlock. The sunsetting of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 at the end of 2025 is an almost certainty if we have a gridlock Congress. If that happens, over 60% of the taxpayers could be facing large federal tax bills. This will certainly be high on the legislative agenda with much give and take, and could take precedence over changes in industry regulations. The controversial Inflation Reduction Act that has been criticized by Donald Trump and many Republicans will probably be very difficult to overturn. It is intended to create more U.S. jobs, and no congressman wants to block creation of jobs. Despite the disdain for clean energy policies by the Republicans, the reality is that the bulk of the installed base of clean energy, especially solar and wind, is in the red states. And activity equals jobs. Again, something that is hard to derail. Political changes are often benchmarked against the traditional timetable of what a president does in their first 100 days. It is highly likely that President Trump will slap on new tariffs and enact stringent border control policies via executive orders during this period. It is possible there could be some deregulatory mandates enacted during this time as well. On the other hand, there is a risk that the Democrats in the Senate could hold up confirmations for presidential cabinet appointees and nominees for the various agencies, stymieing progress. Markets usually tend to be forward-looking in nature, often directionally correct, but far less accurate from a timing standpoint. Markets usually never move in a straight line, so the name of the game is to be strategic, selective, and patient in terms of making your investment allocations. Stick to your long-term investment plan and make minor corrections if necessary. Change in Washington more resembles a glacier than a fast-flowing river. To quote the title from the Carpenters' song, "We've only just begun." Thank you for listening.